zero time.
I'd like to call this meeting of the Carpentersville Village Board to order. Acting Secretary, would you call the roll, please?
Trustee Burroway.
Here.
Trustee Stevens.
Here.
Trustee Humphrey.
Here.
Trustee Savage.
Here.
Trustee Raven.
Here.
Trustee Schultz. President Ritter.
Here. Do I see Adam Parchert here? No. Okay, he was going to give the invocation today, so we'll not have an invocation, but we will rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have no proclamations, congratulatory resolutions, or awards, no appointments, confirmations, or administrations of oath. We do have one public commenter, if you would call him up.
Tom Andres from the
Mr. President, if I could please present that to you. September 6th, 2016, Century Lodge number 492, Independent Order of Oddfellows, Carpentersville, Illinois, would like to express their gratitude to the Village of Carpentersville for their support of the Oddfellows Rock the Fox Music Festival that was recently held in historic Carpenter Park, August 19th through 21st. In friendship, love, and truth, Jeremy Soderstrom, Vice Grand of Century Lodge number 492. I've been asked to talk to you people tonight about the recent music festival. Without sounding immodest, by all accounts, it seemed like it was pretty successful. We polled people that were in the festival, asked them for their feedback. It was almost universally positive. We enjoyed some very positive exposure in the local press, which I think most of you were able to take a look at. Food vendors and product vendors were very pleased with the high quality of support, and all of them are anxious to participate again. The production company was pleased with the professional quality of the stage and their logistic support, and the performing acts loved playing on a big historic stage. In fact, one of the pictures in that handout I gave you was from one of the bands. Speaking of the stage, feedback in social media mentioned the iconic stage, and many people shared memories of having seen nationally touring acts like the band Kansas perform there in the 1980s. We would like to thank the members of the Carpentersville community who supported us by attending the fest. We would also like to thank the following groups: the Carpentersville Fire Department for their after-hours help in helping erect the fencing in the park, the Carpentersville Police Department for their visibility and calming influence during all 3 days of the festival. Thank you for checking in on our overnight security guys and for escorting us to the bank at night with our deposits. Grateful recognition is due to the Special Events Committee, especially the chairperson, Pat Schultz, who unfortunately is not here to hear this. We benefited from her expertise and experience and enthusiasm. She is a booster of all things Carpentersville, and thank you, Pat. The last one on the list, a huge thanks goes out to the dedicated guys of the Carpentersville Public Works Department, especially Director Bob Cole. There was no obstacle too big, no detail too small. From assuring electrical power for our stage and vendors to having his crew spray the stage for hornets the day before the event. It is no exaggeration to say the show would not have gone nearly as well without this kind of support. When I asked him, who do I call when the power goes off just as the headline band goes on, he handed me a Public Works business card with a cell phone number on it. It wasn't until later that I looked and found out that it's Craig Jensen's card. Bob and Pat shared our vision to bring a free, all-ages music festival to historic Carpenter Park for the enjoyment of Carpentersville community, and they worked hard to make it a reality. They get our thanks. In closing, I would tell you about Oddfellows. Our lodge is named Century Lodge because it was founded in the year 1900 at the turn of the 20th century. We are proud of 116 years of service to the Carpentersville community. We hope this successful event has earned your trust, and we will endeavor to keep it. We also hope that we can count on you for support in future events. Thank you, Carpentersville.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
A lot of good things about it. Does anybody want to ask them any questions? This is not typical. We don't, but since you're a friendly visitor, anybody have any questions about the event?
No, just heard it was a great time.
No, it was great. I took my daughter and rode the rides.
If something does come up, please feel free to contact Pat. She's been our liaison. So thank you again for your time and for your support.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that was our only one, right? Yeah. Okay, consent agenda. All items listed on consent agenda will be enacted by one motion. There'll be no separate discussion of those items unless the trustee so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. Any items to be removed?
A motion to pass the consent agenda?
I'll second.
Motion, Paul. Second, Jeff. Call the roll, please.
Trustee Schultz. Trustee Rayburn.
Yes.
Trustee Sabi.
Yes.
Trustee Humphrey.
Yes.
Trustee Stevens.
Yes.
Trustee Burley.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. As usual, there are a lot of interesting things on the consent agenda, but that's the way we run this. So there is a lot of money for tree trimming in the village. We've started an aggressive program of tree trimming. Snow plowing in the cul-de-sacs has been very successful, and we're going to continue to do that with an outside contractor. And we're getting a new truck to replace one that is, 1993 or 4, something like that, an old step van truck. And we're replacing the truck, or the old step van, with a truck and trailer that'll save us $15,000 over buying a new step truck, right? So a lot of good things in there, and just wanted to take a moment and point some of those out. But we're ready for reports of manager, officers, commissions, and staff. Mark?
I'd like to recognize Fire Chief Schilling, JP.
President Ritter and members of the board, Manager Rooney, I'm really honored to be here tonight to recognize a firefighter who has really accomplished a lot in his 11 years as a firefighter with the village of Carpentersville. Firefighter Tony Ferrero, if you would please come up. Firefighter Ferrero has been a firefighter with our village since July of 2005, and during this time he's taken on the responsibilities of public education coordination and grant writing. Today we honor Firefighter Ferrero with a letter of appreciation from Manager Rooney for Tony's exceptional abilities in grant writing. Firefighter Ferrero's grant applications have been awarded 5 times for a total of $404,500 in savings to our community, which is fantastic. Some of the projects that we saw financial gains from through his grant writing capabilities were a diesel exhaust removal system for all 3 fire stations, installation of mobile data terminals in all fire trucks and ambulances, the purchase of 52 structural firefighting helmets, ambulance power cot and lift assist systems, and then the most recent one that we just received acknowledgement from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, a grant award of $238,637 towards the purchase of new air packs for our department. So,
And I only want to say thanks and read this into the board record. As the village manager, I wanted to take this opportunity to just publicly thank you and read the letter of appreciation that will go in your personnel file. Tony, as the village manager, it gives me great pleasure to formally recognize you for your outstanding performance in submitting the village for consideration of U.S. Department of Homeland Security assistance to firefighters grants. The village of Carpentersville appreciates your dedication in finding cost-effective means to improve service and safety. Your hard work will assist the village in realizing an excess of $404,500 in direct savings between the 5 grants you've submitted on behalf of the village. The Village Board of Trustees has established formal goals and objectives that serve as our guiding principle for village operations, the budget process. And among those specific goals and objectives, the board cited cost savings and identifying revenue alternatives that are not taxes on the village. And your willingness to go outside the traditional duties of a firefighter and applying your knowledge of this grant writing process is being recognized today by this letter and public recognition. Please accept this letter of appreciation as a small token of my gratitude and the board's gratitude for your job well done. Your actions and dedication reflect highly on the fire department as an organization and also serve as an example of esteemed professionalism for your peers throughout the village to emulate. Thank you.
All right.
Just want to say thank you for doing this. I really didn't need this. I honestly just do it for the men and women you see here to make sure that we come home to our families safely at night and to help the fire department as a whole. And I'd like to thank my family. I didn't know some of my family was going to be here tonight. My mother, Michelle, my grandmother, Gladys, of course, my wife, Bree, and my three sons, Dylan, Chase, and Logan. So I'd like to thank them. And I'd also like to thank the chief's wife and his daughter. They came today, too, so thank you very much. And all the guys and girls that are here today who came on duty, I appreciate them. They didn't need to come, but I really appreciate them being here today. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tony.
I will add just a little bit that grant writing is not just filling in the blanks on a piece of paper. It's marshaling your information, knowing who your audience is, writing with a purpose. It's not simple, and not everybody can be a grant writer. So we appreciate that there is one guy who knows how to do that, and that's a great thing for us. Now, we understand that a lot of you are on duty or whatever, and you have to leave, so we'll stop for just a minute and give you a moment to leave unless you really want to hang around for the rest of the meeting. So we'll recess for a minute or two while you shake his hand and then exit. Unless you want to stay, you're welcome to do that too.
Nobody ever stays.
Nobody ever stays.
Nobody ever stays.
We stay, Jeff.
Great deal.
We stay.
Is there a college course in that, or I mean, a special? I think there is, because I've seen it, advertised,
Right.
That would
Trustee is
conclude
pointing out
that-
that one of our former trustees, the son of one of our longstanding trustees, is here this evening, Mr. Frost. It's nice to see you here. Your dad was a great guy. He did a lot for us, and it's nice to be able to say hi and welcome back to the Frost family. With that, Mark, back over
That
to
would
you.
conclude our staff report this evening.
Okay, commission reports. Kevin?
Yeah, we have an audit and finance meeting in a couple days here, September 8th at 6:30. It's at the Public Works Building. The agenda just came out. We'll be discussing the Carpenter Park grant update, our budget calendar review. We'll also be discussing the 2016 financials, revenue projections, debt service, and pension tax levy. We'll also be discussing the insurance brokerage service update, water rate study update, and a home rule sales tax sunset discussion. So a pretty big agenda, quite a few impactful items there for the residents of Carpentersville. So we welcome your feedback on any one of those items or any item. you're more than welcome to attend or send us your feedback ahead of time, and we'll be happy to respond. Thank you.
Paul?
We had a Business Development Commission meeting on August 30th. We had discussed a lot of things that night. It was quite a long agenda. First of which was the Shop Seville update, which is our new website for people and businesses to go to see what businesses are in town of the 400 that are nearly 400 that we have. Hopefully, people use this as a resource. What we intend that to be. So that was a good update. I think we're still ironing out a few details, but it's looking in pretty good shape as of now. We discussed the redevelopment of the former Rosati's building, which is over in Spring Hill Mall, and discussed some of the stores that are interested in coming in there and getting an update from our community development department where they are in that process. So that was nice. And then last part, in conjunction with our goal setting and the development of a budget for next year, I asked the team of people that I work with on business development to come up with some ideas of what we can do with the new TIF district that we have, which is on the west side of town from the Spring Industrial Center up through Spring Hill Mall. And they prepared and brought the information forward, and it was good to hear a lot of things that we've discussed as a board as the goals for the village they were in line with, and appreciated that we're on the same page. They support them. The rebranding effort was discussed extensively, and so those were some of the items that they really like. Now, there's also, some budgetary items that are tied to that. So I asked them to quantify, or let's list out all these items and put a dollar amount to it so we could bring it to the Audit and Finance Commission and discuss with them moving forward on some or all of these items. Not sure we'll be able to do everything that they want to do, but at least we're prioritizing what are the items that are important for that TIF district. So overall, I thought it was a good meeting, a good positive meeting. We'll come back with a more final list for when we begin the budget season. I'll introduce those items there. So our next meeting will be at the end of this month, the fourth Tuesday. We usually have it at 5 o'clock on the second floor. That's all I have.
Ginger and Pat Saps, do you have anything from either of the committees you're on?
Caught me off guard. Shame on
No, I'm sorry. I should have said something. I knew Pat was trying to get back from the airport. You know how much chance there is of making a fast trip at 5 o'clock from the airport.
What about the circus?
Circus is coming to town
Saturday, right?
this weekend.
This weekend.
Yeah.
The Friday night, I don't have the brochure. Friday night and Saturday night?
The brochure doesn't mention if it's free or how much it costs or anything.
They're doing all the advertising for it.
We're not real involved in it.
No, we're
just
not.
Providing a place for them to
Yeah.
have it, right?
Yeah. Boy. Without the brochure, I don't know.
That's okay. I should have said something to you ahead of time.
and the social media page.
Yes, it is. That it is. It is out on Facebook. I've seen it.
We have a Parks meeting Monday night at 6:30 at Village Works.
Good. That's good.
And we haven't had one for a while because not much going on this summer. But now with the Parks grant, I'm sure we'll have a lot to discuss on Monday night. So it's at Village Works on Monday at 6:30. So.
Don, anything to report?
Jelkes Creek, Fox River Watershed Coalition will be meeting on the 19th, and I will have a report after that. And Quadcom, I'll defer to Chief Kilborn if there's anything new there. Nothing. Just approving the financials for the quarter. That's it.
Okay. Well, that would take care of our reports this evening. We have no old business. Under new business, the first item would be an ordinance approving a planned unit development for a new multi-tenant retail building at 125 Southwestern Avenue. We need a motion.
I'll motion to pass.
I'll second.
Motion, Paul. Second, was that Kevin? Okay. Mark?
I'm going to recognize Community Development Director Huber, and he will introduce the applicants.
Good evening, everyone. The ordinance before you is consideration of approval of a PUD for 125 Western Avenue. And as you all know, that's the former Rosati's building. The applicant is technically Western Avenue Partners LLC. John Kerr is here, and Jeff Dunham representing the owners and developers, right? And they were present at the hearing conducted by the Plan Commission, the August Plan Commission hearing meeting. And there are some conditions, basically, most of the redevelopment projects in our town require the PUD. This is generally a pretty simple building. They're going to demo the Rosati's, however. They're going to construct a multi-tenant building, approximately 5,500 square feet. They have one user, which is American Mattress now, and they're working on a second one for the other part of the space. But with that, the PZC unanimously recommended approval of the ordinance with the conditions identified and including the variances. There's a long list of conditions associated with the PUD, and I'll mention that because the applicants indicated they were going to be in conformance with the plan. So they have a significant interest in trying to get the building going prior to Thanksgiving, right? Before that. Oh, occupied by many years ago now? Okay. Good. So with that aggressive schedule, they've generally agreed that they're going to be in conformance with village requirements. If not, they'll be coming back, and we'll have to do additional work. But we've been reviewing the building plans now, and they've been, coming into compliance with the recommendations, things of that nature. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions, or if you have any questions, obviously, for...
Any questions for the developers?
No. Thank you for coming.
Yeah. Yes, appreciate the work.
Oh, we're as anxious as you are.
Yes. Sounds good.
It's been a sore point for years and years, the building and the conditions to get into it and all the rest of that. We've fought it. Got rid of the pizza thing that was on there, the pizza restriction. And
the hamburger or the hot dog restriction.
Whatever it was, I don't remember. But it wasn't a restriction. It could only be Italian, right? Yeah, I had it backwards. It could only be Italian food. If there are no questions, you get off easy, fellas. Thank you. Any comments other than questions before we take a vote?
Welcome aboard.
Yep. Thank you.
We haven't voted yet, but go ahead.
Looking good.
Okay.
Good to hear.
Here, please.
Staff honestly has been amazing to deal with, and not because they just are doing anything that we ask, but clearly I think they get that it's partnership, and it's been nice to experience that.
Glad to hear that.
We have a real good PUD format, and that makes it very friendly for new buildings coming in. I think people find it's harder to remodel a building than it is to build new, because the remodel, there's always a lot more questions. Of PUD, it's cut and dried, and everything gets done. They know right up front exactly what they have to have, and PUDs are a real nice thing. Anyway, if there are no more other comments, call the roll, please.
Trustee Rayburn.
Yes.
Trustee Sabi.
Yes.
Trustee Hunt.
Yes.
Trustee Stevens.
Yes.
Trustee Burley.
Yes.
Trustee Schultz.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
You guys, good luck.
I get started tomorrow, right?
Although you actually are involved in the second part of this, which one?
Continue it. We're going to continue that.
Oh, you're going to continue that?
Yeah.
Okay. So item B will be continued?
Item B, Hart, if you would.
Yeah, it would just, we're still working out the details of the agreement with the property owners. Mr. President, if I can recommend that you entertain a motion at this time to continue item B to your next meeting on September 20th.
Second.
Motion Paul, second.
September
Ginger
20th
to,
would be fine, as amended.
Continue this to the next meeting. And actually, it's an agreement, it's a financial help agreement for them. So, yeah, sometimes there are a lot of details that have to be worked out. And, that's not a contingency. Well, things will go forward, so it's fine. They can go forward without that. But Call roll on motion to continue this.
Trustee Savi.
Yes.
Trustee Humphries.
Yes.
Trustee Stevens.
Yes.
Trustee Burrow.
Yes.
Trustee Schultz, absent. Trustee Rager.
Yes.
Okay. Item C, an ordinance amending section 10.36.040 of the Carpentersville Municipal Code as amended regarding traffic regulations.
I'll
I would
motion
need
to
a
pass this. I'll motion to pass this item.
Motion, Paul. Second?
Second.
Second, Jeff. Mark?
I'd like to recognize Chief Kilborn of the Police Department to explain the 3 locations of this traffic code change in signage.
There are 3 locations that the village has moved forward and asked for different traffic signage which would restrict the movement of traffic during certain times of the day. 2 of them are complete roadways that we control, Main Street at Washington Street and Main Street at Lincoln Avenue. The third is Miller Road at Liberty School, an area that we control but not an intersection. Historically, the first 2, Main Street at Washington Street, we're looking at restricting the traffic of going straight through that intersection from south to north during the peak hours. Peak hours being 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. and 3:30 to 6:30 p.m. Historically, as residents of this town, you know that the traffic does back up at that location when people are almost exclusively trying to make right turns to go over the bridge. This, along with the signage at Main Street and Lincoln, is going to be an attempt to adjust or control traffic through those intersections before potentially some planned enhancements, physical enhancements, will occur. In reference to the Main Street and Washington Street, obviously we know that there are initial studies to determine whether or not a traffic control device there, whether a traffic circle, what major changes may occur to change that intersection that would help other than this initial signage. In Main Street at Lincoln Avenue, as you travel west on Main Street, we would deter or not allow for vehicles making left turns onto Lincoln, making a left turn onto Lincoln going south during the same peak hours, being 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. and 3:30 to 6:30. Once again, that's an intersection where a majority of the traffic is going straight through that intersection to go west to get further west past the river. Those who stop and make the left turn there, because of the current construction of that intersection, depending on where they stop for that left turn, traffic backs up behind them because they can't get around them through the intersection. I believe, if I say this right, Kevin, we are currently in phase 2 of improving the intersection just west of that, which will offer some aid to that intersection where maybe this not allowing left turns might be removed in the future if the additional traffic flow is achieved by the improvements up at the 31 and Main Street intersection. Liberty School has had a problem with pickup and drop-off, with people going on Miller Road from Huntley and going east on Miller. That's a short distance between the entrance and the traffic light. And as people wait to make that left turn into the school, because people are in the other direction where years ago the village did the run-up, traffic backs up at and into Huntley Road, which is a problem. We have tried several ways to manage this between us and the school, with the school district asking for our help. Initially, we tried to manage it with the school district, just notifying parents that there are better ways to get in there. They can't block the intersection. When that didn't work, this summer, with cooperation of the school, the village enacted a do not block the intersection at that left turn. That has solved a small part of the problem, but traffic is still backing up into Huntley Road. And so now the school district has agreed with our initial assessment, and that is not to allow left turns into the school there off of Miller Road while school is in session for the times listed of 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 and 1:30 to 2:30. We have a signed letter of cooperation or agreement with School District 300 as to them agreeing with this signage to help with their school exit and entrances.
I have a question.
Question? Sure.
What's the alternative for people coming down Huntley Road? You know, if they're coming to get into the school.
There's two alternatives. You could turn into Kimball Farms.
Okay.
Which I believe that's, is that Westwood?
I think it's Westwood.
It's Westwood. And then follow that around to, oh boy, Breezeland. And then you could take Breezeland to Dunroven and then on to Miller.
Okay.
And the other thing is to go to Providence Point. Or, yeah, well, actually, two ways. Providence Point and turn left in there, and same thing, come back out on Miller. So this way we got traffic going one direction predominantly, which I think is going to help.
There is going to be a learning curve with all three of these, and we will immediately put out press releases tomorrow with the notification. With the school district will be handing out flyers to the parents who use their vehicle to drop the kids off. There will be a learning curve. If these pass tonight, we intend to start enforcing them a week from yesterday. So the signs will go up. They'll be orange or red flagged. I forget what color they use, so that they see the new signage. And the police will be there to initially to give notices that, no, you've got to read the sign right there that says no left turn or no through turn. Specifically, there'll be a couple locations within here where people might try to cut to get through and avoid the signage. We'll have to deal with that also. But all three of these are an attempt to manage traffic that a great majority of the people are being held up because of fewer people trying to go against the flow.
I would suggest we'll probably need some signage back at Maple so people can get turned and go around the park or whatever they're going to do to keep going south. But if we don't have it there, they're going to get up to that intersection and see they can't turn, and that means go right and go. And you can't turn on Lincoln; they'll go all the way around through East and West Dundee to get back to.
No, if they turned right, if they're going south on Washington, they could turn right back onto Wisconsin and go back, loop back around to Maple, and then go back around the park.
Yeah.
So they don't really have to cross the river. They don't want to.
Well, no, that's true. But
and this
it
is,
would be better if we catch them early and just get them turned right at the intersection there.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm hoping we have some type of signage there. I know we have that billboard, the electronic sign.
Could we do along those lines? Could we do a screenshot of Google Maps for each of these three areas, and then do green and red with what's allowed and what isn't allowed now, and then put that out on social media, and then people can share it, and then we can kind of get ahead of the curve a little bit more. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, just
yes.
Here, just draw over it freehand. You know, you can turn this way. You can't turn that way now.
Yes.
You know?
I mean, the learning curve. Really, what we're doing is breaking a habit. People will quickly find how to get through with these restrictions. It's the habit you're breaking, not the actual, I don't know where to go.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Kevin, Trustee Redbrick, that is a good advice, and we'll have, I'll have Public Works generate that, and we'll put that out with the social media and also through the press
then we can
release.
all share it through our channels and get it out there.
Yeah.
I know it
Probably get it
would
to
help
the paper
me.
too, if they've done it, but.
Any other comments?
Yeah,
or
I do.
Go ahead.
You know, this ties in with our whole discussion of the budget and what to do with this TIF district. I mean, you know, we're talking about possibly putting a roundabout there. We may be able to avoid that if this works. So I'm really eager to try this to see if this works out. And by the way, this idea came from a resident who lives over there, who pointed out, why don't you just stop people from crossing Main Street during those time periods when the traffic seems to back up? And I'm hoping that this works so that we get better traffic flow and possibly save some dollars to use elsewhere. I don't know. It's just a possibility at this point. So we'll look at it. We'll reassess it. And but at least we're trying something new before we start spending infrastructure dollars.
If there are no other comments, call the roll, please.
Trustee Humfer.
Yes.
Trustee Stevens.
Yes.
Trustee Burroway.
Yes.
Trustee Schultz is absent. Trustee Rayberg.
Yes.
Trustee Sabi.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, motion passes. Let's see. Item D, a resolution waiving competitive bidding requirements and approving an agreement with L&R Construction Company of Chicago, Illinois for the Carpenter Park renovation Phase 1 contract. Motion, please.
I'll motion to pass this.
I'll second.
Motion, Paul. Second, Ginger. Okay, Bob?
Okay, this has been a long time coming, hasn't it? Last month, we received notification that the $400,000 OSLOD grant, which is distributed through the Illinois Department of Natural Resources, was reinstated. This was great news. However, the contractor that was awarded the project back in 2015, they closed their doors. They went out of business. When this normally happens, a bonding company takes over. And the purpose of the bonding company, or the job of the bonding company, is to find a new contractor. And typically how this works is that the bonding company will secure the services of another contractor. If the cost of that contract is higher than what was originally awarded, the bonding company would typically come in and then make up the difference. For an example, if a contract was awarded for $1,000, bonding company would come in and the contractor went out of business, the bonding company would come in, find a new contractor. Now, if that price was $2,000, the bonding company then would be responsible to make up the $1,000 difference. Attorney Passman has been working with the bonding company and trying to negotiate a settlement with the bonding company as recent as last week. Not wanting to waste any time, staff contacted our construction manager, Upland Design, and directed them to contact the contractor that provided the next lowest bid for the project, and that contractor was L&R Construction. And they asked if they would be interested in completing the project and also honor the 2015 bid. We do have a verbal commitment from L&R, and L&R is the contractor that completed the McNamee and Jack Hill Park Riverbank restoration project. So tonight, we just come to the board and ask for approval, passing of the resolution to enter into an agreement with L&R to complete the Carpenter Park project.
Questions or comments? Paul?
Bob, that was a great example, what you cited, what a surety bond company does. But I just wanted to point out that this is something that we require anybody providing a bid to us to do work, that they have to provide collateral, some form of collateral, that they'll do the work. And if you remember years ago, we had a problem with exchanging out water softeners where this happened. So it's an especially sensitive area for us. And so far, it's worked out well. And it's nice to see that this is working out very smoothly, and the second bidder is going to be able to step up and complete the work. So this is how it should work in a perfect world. So,
any questions or comments? If not, call the roll, please.
Trustee Stevens.
Yes.
Trustee Burley.
Yes.
Do it.
Trustee Rayburn.
Yes.
Trustee Savage.
Yes.
Trustee Humphrey.
yes.
Bob, when maybe we, no, you don't have to get up. Just when maybe we see construction starting? Any idea?
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow?
Got a lot of everything tomorrow.
Thursday?
Tonight?
Just the ballpark.
End of September.
End of September?
End of
Okay,
September.
that's good. That's all I want.
There's a lot of things that have to be done. The Department of Natural Resource, they must be notified for the change in the contractor. The contract must be fully executed by both parties. Bond insurance requirements must be received by the contractor prior to them mobilizing. Pre-construction meeting, which indicates what their plans are and their approach to completing the project. And Public Works, we have to get over there and complete the demolition, which is part of our responsibility. And so there's a lot to be done. But hopefully, they want to get started by the end of September, November, October, somewhere around there.
So Attorney Passman does want to add
one other caveat. All those are standard requirements. I should note for the board's information, we do need to firm up the agreement with the bonding company from the original contractor. I've had some positive discussions with them, but we're not there yet. Your approval tonight enables the staff to move quickly at the time that we reach some type of accord with the bonding company. So I hope be able to report back all good news by the time of your next meeting in 2 weeks.
obviously, you can tell the board is anxious to get this going. It's not, that's not a secret. But as with everything, government works slower than we want it to. So we'll get it, though, hopefully end of the month. Okay, trustee reports. I'll start with Kevin this evening.
Well, I go first, and tonight where I don't have a report.
Well, that's fine. That's a good report.
Yeah, no report.
Don.
Excuse me. I just wanted to say that on August 31st, we had the overdose awareness project going out there, an event held here at Village Hall on the corner of Bessinger and Maple. And it was very nice. It was very nice. I just wanted to thank Terry Dudar for setting that all up, and we had a candle vigil for those who've succumbed to that horrible drug. And I want to thank the chief, especially for offering some remarks and his help in setting that all up and getting it organized. So that's what I wanted to do. So thank you, Chief.
I do have more information now on Kelly Miller Circus. Gave me a little leeway there. Kelly Miller Circus will be Saturday the 10th, Sunday the 11th. Show times will be 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. Setup times will be at 9 a.m. in the morning, so come and watch the tent go up. Advance tickets for adults are $12, $6 for kids. At showtime, they will be $16 for adults and $8 for kids. And you can go online at kellymillercircus.com to purchase those tickets. And you can get the discounted rate up until showtime.
Yes, 3 times.
They were established in 1938, so it's not like it was just formed recently. They've been around for a long time.
That it?
That's it.
Just really pleased with the positive momentum in the village with these projects that we passed tonight. A couple of them I'm just so happy to see come to fruition, with the park getting fixed up and Rosati's building going bye-bye. I wish I could go over and help them tear it down. So, but it's it won't take much. But it's just positive momentum. I'm just really pleased. Yeah, that things are moving in the right direction here. So that's all I had. Thanks.
I just also wanted to comment that the park is the thing I get asked most. People, when are you going to get the park? When's the playground equipment going to go up? So we are so happy this grant finally came through. I can tell you we've all been doing everything we can. Thanks to Bob Cole for keeping on the state government about this, and we will keep you updated as to when things are going to move forward. And then just one more thing, I just wanted to say thank you publicly to Hitesh tonight. You keep saving us money with the bonds and the favorable rates and refinancing things, and it's things like that that help save your tax dollars. And I'm glad you're here, Hitesh. Thank you. So.
Yeah, let me jump in here too. Ed Ritter deserves a big round of applause for staying on top of our legislators with the OSLOD grant. He went down there numerous times and had, one-on-ones with the governor even. So I'd say, come on, guys, let's move forward. So I really appreciate that effort, Ed, and I think you did a great job, and it's really nice to see that bond get awarded to us.
I'm sure all of you talk to your legislators whenever you saw them, too. I'm probably not the only one, but I thank you. With that, I guess it's my turn here. As usual, I have to express some gigantic disappointment in Springfield, although they did get our grant going. That was the governor. But for the state Supreme Court to disenfranchise 560,000 people who said they want to change the way we draw up our districts in Illinois, and to just say, nah, that's all right. We got a technicality that'll stop these 560,000 people from having a chance to vote on a fairer way to draw up our districts. I was really disappointed in that, and I won't blame any party or anybody. I'll just say it was a travesty, and I'll leave it at that. I did have an opportunity last week, Congressman Roscom and a little part of Carpentersville, including my house, is in his district, but I was invited as mayor and surrounding mayors that were in his district to go in and talk with him, and a lot of the stuff was mostly directed at one town or another, but the one thing he said that he really expects to see right after the election is a real push to change the tax codes to a much fairer and more simple tax code. And he thinks that both sides of the aisle are tired of the way things are done now in taxes, and that he really thinks that, I'd say it, but a lame duck Congress will have a better chance of passing some serious reforms on income taxes. And that, I think all of us will be going, yeah, wow, simpler tax code, maybe changing some of the rates, making it a little easier on people. We'll see, but that was a big take back from the meeting with him, and the most interesting one. And again, I wanted to highlight that District 300 now has their own district-wide food pantry. They just had a grand opening. I was nice enough to be invited over to help cut the ribbon, and it's a very small facility, but it's very nice, and it's set up nicely, and it's pretty much open to anybody who lives in District 300. So it's not just parents, it's anybody that needs help in District 300 can go there. So it is not restricted to parents only. That was a rumor that was kind of going around, but it is not. It is for anybody that needs help. With that, some of you, if you come to Village Hall and you walk in, you're going to see an interesting little thing. It's called Little Red Library. It's a free lending and take a book, put a book back in. It's a building. It's a box right outside the door here. To come pay your water bill. They have some books in Spanish, some books in English, and the idea is if you take a book, then you bring a different book back, or you bring a book with you and you take one that's in there and leave one. So it's a free honor system library, and they've already had a lot of books taken out. Not quite as many come back in. I will say they said almost all the Spanish books in Spanish were gone already, because it's very hard for little kids to get books like that to read at home, or adults. They're difficult to purchase. You wouldn't think so, but they are. And so if you happen to have books in Spanish that you would like to donate, it would be really appreciated, because even people who work at the public library say it's hard to order books for that particular purpose. So that would be appreciated if you have any books that you just want to drop off there as well. And again, some of the things that we've really hoped would happen, like with Walmart coming in, that we would hopefully get some secondary stores that would start to fill in around Walmart. We're already getting inquiries, very serious inquiries. That's a good thing for the village to know, I think, people. And we're not going to rest until Dominic's gets full. I just had a discussion with Patrick Burke, our guy, and we heard about it, or I had heard about a big box store that is interested in coming into this area. So he's contacting them, and maybe nothing will happen, but we're not going to leave stones unturned. If we get information about stores that are interested in moving, we would be glad to get it. If you know of a store that might want to come to this area, give us a chance, because Patrick is very anxious to talk to companies that want to move to this area and get them in here. We have incentives to offer in different parts of town through TIF. We can do sales tax incentives. We've got a whole village policy on it. So new retail and industrial are things that we really want to see. So if you have any tips, let us know. Call in, email Patrick Burke. He's in the village website. And I will end on that note, and we need to have closed session. We have, that's right, closed session. This is open session. I keep forgetting. I got to get these back. It's not easy. Section 2C1, 2C5, 2C6, 2C2, and 2C11 of the Open Meetings Act. I need a motion to move to
A motion.
closed session.
I'll second.
Motion Ginger, second Kevin. Any discussion? If not, call the roll, please.
Trustee Burrow.
Yes.
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 Move to closed session.